Welcome to your weekly reading for April 4th to April the 10th. Let's see what messages and major themes we have for Taurus as you move through your week. Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising for April the 4th to the 10th. Yin. Oh, lots of interesting cards coming out. Okay. Let's have a look at what came out, and then we'll look at the bottom of the deck. Okay, so we see to be fair, poised, co-create, change in the wind, and yin. Very interesting. So you are feeling very confident. You're feeling very confident that you are working on creating something here. You're working really closely with your intuition, with your higher self. You're tapping into a lot of creative expression this week, and you're confident with what you're working on. You feel like it's fair and that it's actually changing your direction. This is fair in the sense that it resonates with you. You feel in alignment with this, and that it's actually moving you towards a new direction. Whether or not you're aware of that, I'm not sure, but it's definitely having an effect on your path forward. You're definitely moving towards something that you're aligned with this week, Taurus, and you feel the confidence. You feel very confident about this, and go the distance on the bottom of the deck, which is very interesting because poised is card 48 and go the distance is card 47. Whenever I see cards like this that line up in numbers, I always think you're moving towards something and it's gaining momentum. You're moving towards something. You're being guided to go the distance. You know, really feeling that confidence that you're creating something here that is in balance with where you're at. It's creating a change. It's creating a shift. Whether or not you're aware of that, I'm not sure, but it's definitely having an impact on where you are and where you're going, and what experiences you're going to have. I feel like you're planting seeds. You're really planting a lot of seeds here, and you're being encouraged to keep doing it. Keep working at what's fair, what feels balanced, what feels like it's in alignment with you. Let's see if we can get some clarity. I got the tarot cards out here. Let's have a look for Taurus. I feel like, there we go. Felt like there was a bunch of cards coming out. Okay, strength card. Yeah, very confident in your ability to overcome obstacles, even though you're hanging on to your resources kind of tightly. You might be thinking that you need these resources, so you're hanging on really tightly to them instead of sort of feeling that trust with resources. In the material world, you feel like this isn't the time to spend. This is the time to save. It's interesting. I feel like as you move forward on this path may involve an investment of money. It may involve a material investment. So you're saving up because you want to be able to have options. You want your path to go forward without any hiccups when it comes to resources, material resources. I think you feel really confident in your ability to overcome obstacles, but at the same time, you might be sort of feel that if you a little bit of pressure in the sense that if you don't hang on to your resources, there's going to be none left. And so although you feel confident in your ability to overcome obstacles and go the distance and to create something, there's something here that's making you feel scarcity, like almost a competition, a comparison. It's like you're comparing what you have with what someone else has, and you're thinking to yourself, I want that. You know what I mean? And it's interesting to see the Magician in reverse, because that makes me think that you kind of need to get distance from that way of thinking, because it's having the opposite effect on your manifestation. By focusing on what someone else has, and then you're sort of inviting in this sense of lack, and you're inviting in this sense of they have more, I must compete, or how do I get what they have? And it's sort of It's taking you away from the energy of manifestation, because it's creating a lack of balance inside. Internally, your subconscious mind is focused on the idea of scarcity, whereas your conscious mind is focused on the idea of abundance. And so those two belief systems are in opposition to one another. We cannot feel abundant if we are afraid of scarcity. Does that make sense? Like, it's almost like this is pointing towards needing to balance the inner world. Yes, and to get some distance from some limiting thoughts about how much is available. It's almost like you're thinking that there's a finite amount of resources, so I'm going to hang on to mine so I can create the path I want. But by hanging on, you're actually limiting yourself. So it's a very interesting dichotomy. It's very polarized right now, Taurus. It's very polarized. And I think that's why we're seeing the Magician in reverse, because you've got opposing belief systems here, one operating on the subconscious level and one operating on the conscious level. There's the Hermit in reverse. I'll put him over here. That is saying to me, you haven't quite taken the wisdom from this experience yet. You're still operating in a place that says scarcity. And if anything, you're being guided to set yourself free from that by transforming your emotions around abundance. This is new still. It's just sort of beginning to creep in that maybe, yeah, I'm holding myself back. Fool in reverse. You have to be willing to take a risk here and to almost shift your perspective into a new framework that says there's enough for everybody. I don't need to compete with you. I can cheer you on and cheer myself on at the same time, because we're not in competition with one another. But I can't help but think that a part of you is like, but we are in competition with one another. And so it's interesting. I think we're seeing the Nine of Swords in reverse here, because you're starting to sort of see maybe that the way you believe things work isn't actually serving you. That by holding on to limiting beliefs, you're actually trapping yourself in a situation that isn't going to serve you. And so seeing this Page of Cups, it's in reverse, but that tells me that you're starting to see perhaps a new emotional presence would help me feel more balanced. But you've got to be willing to take that first step out. And I feel like it still feels too risky for you. You're Taurus. You're feeling like the risks outweigh the benefits. Sorry, my cat just came in and she's jumping all over near the camera. Okay, we see Ace of Rods, which Page of Swords in reverse. That is saying to me that there is a new beginning that you feel confident about, but it's going to involve a shift in your thinking. There's limiting beliefs here, Taurus, and they're not serving you. They're not serving you to have these limiting beliefs. We see the Hanged Man in reverse on the bottom of the deck. So some of this has to do with timing. It's like I can't help but think that you feel scarcity. Scarcity in resources, scarcity in options, scarcity even in time. But there is a change in the wind. There is a change in the wind here. So I feel like the option is coming for you to change how you think about this situation. I feel like you are moving towards something karmic. This is happening to teach you something. This is happening to sort of get you to step out of your own way and to take that Ace of Rods in your hand and run with it, to take the baton and go. You know what I mean? Instead of feeling like you can't change your perspective. Why not? We can change our perspective anytime we wish. And it's interesting. This page is coming in with this Page of Cups, both in reverse. So it's like changing changing our path sometimes begins with changing our feelings and changing our mind. If you change your mind about something, you'll change your feelings about something, which might lead to an inspiration here. But you got to get distance from these limiting thoughts because they're holding back your ability to be balanced within. And it's like your subconscious and your conscious are vibing in two different directions. So that's creating this weird sort of feeling of scarcity mixed with confidence. Do you know what I mean? It's very interesting. At a time where you're being guided to plant seeds for something so that it grows in the direction that you're the direction that you're vibing in. The problem is that you're vibing in two different directions. There's a part of you that's hanging on. It's hanging on tightly. And then there's another part of you that's sort of like willing to take a chance, but not willing to take a risk. It's interesting. It's very interesting. And it feels like, although you want to create something, are you willing to change your feelings about it? Are you willing to change your mind about it? I wonder. That's very interesting. It feels like Taurus is having sort of an inner conflict between their conscious and subconscious. What is an affirmation that will guide Taurus this week? To close this reading, what is an affirmation for Taurus to help guide them through their week? No affirmations? Let's try again. An affirmation to help Taurus this week. To help support Taurus in achieving balance in their mind and in their heart, in the conscious and the subconscious. I take actions daily that awaken my personal power. Interesting. So you're being directed back into the confidence, back into the personal power center, back into your I can statements, right? I take actions daily that awaken my personal power. So what actions are you taking daily and how do they impact your sense of personal power? That is the question for you to sort of sit with as you are the hermit here this week. That hermit is in reverse. So perhaps as you sit with this, you're not thinking about what actions you can take that would support your personal power. Perhaps you're thinking about this in a different way. I think maybe you feel like it's more about resources than confidence. That's really interesting. Perhaps you're thinking to yourself, I can be as confident as I want, but if I don't have the resources to do something, it's not going to happen. And it feels like that kind of limiting belief is actually working against you this week, Taurus. Very interesting reading. I'm going to leave it at that. I hope this has provided you with some clarity for the week. And if you've enjoyed this reading, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. I appreciate your support for the channel so very much, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again for another reading. Sending you so much love and light, Taurus.